Welcome to Unboxing History. I'm Christine Hopkins, co host of the Unboxing History podcast presented by the Galveston County Museum.
And I'm Jody Wright-Goodley, director of the Galveston County Museum.
As part of Unboxing History, we unbox artifacts that are part of the museum's collection. So today, I think we're doing something special for the holidays. So Jody, tell me, what do we have?
So we are unboxing something that's related to a Christmas tree. It's that time of year. And so Christmas trees are something many of us have in our homes at this time of year. And we have a Christmas tree in our collection that is 114 years old.
Oh my gosh.
It may even be the oldest Christmas tree in Texas, maybe the oldest in the country. We're not exactly sure. And so in the box today, we have a couple of ornaments that are from the tree, and we'll get into the whole story in a little bit. But one of the ornaments that hangs on this 114-year-old tree is this little ornament. It is a little straw hat from Tampico, Mexico. And so Galveston and the town of Tampico used to have a very tight trade relationship. They would trade, and a lot of people would travel there for business or for vacation. And so this little hat was brought by a member of the family in the early 1900s, and it became a Christmas ornament on the family tree that you're going to learn about. There was also a little ornament on the tree from the early 1900s that is a little teddy bear. One of the little girls in the family had gotten this as a gift, and they turned it into an ornament to hang on their tree that was in their family for years. And so that's...
And look out there, he has little eyes, and he has a cute little red ribbon. Oh, and I mean, that is amazing. And it's in such great shape for being such an old bear.
Yes, this family has cared for this tree for a long time and taken great care of it, and that's why it's still here.
Well, so who are we going to be talking to today?
So we are going to be talking to the person that donated the tree, Mr. Lynn Ring, and he's going to tell us the story.
Well, I'm going to turn it over to you.
So, Mr. Ring, thank you for coming today to tell us the story of the Christmas tree. So, from what I've learned, Christmas trees became really popular in Germany in the early 1700s. And then eventually Americans started taking on that tradition of having Christmas trees in their homes. But Germany was also worried about deforestation, so they started making artificial trees. So this is an artificial tree. Can you tell us about how your family first bought it?
Well, I'm the grandson of Francisco, who is Frank Martin, from Marseille, France. And and my grandmother was from Dudley, England. Her name was Jane Witt, and she went by Jenny. And they were both immigrants to Galveston, and later they met and married, and they had a large family, 7 children, 2 girls and 5 boys. My mother was next to the youngest. Constance was her name, and the youngest was Frank Jr. And they went shopping at Ivan's department store. And while they were there, they saw this group of artificial Christmas tree, and immediately her son, Frank Jr., said, "I like that one, the largest one." And she says, "Well, first we need to find out the price." And when they found out it was $11, she said, "We have to go home and talk to your father about this." And I've calculated through a friend that $11 in 1910 would be the equivalent to $335 today.
Wow.
So that's why they went home to discuss it.
Yeah.
And they bought the tallest tree.
Okay.
And they had tabletop to this size. And there are different ornaments on the tree through the years.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, the straw hat is right here. And that was brought from my mother's father from Tampico, Mexico in 1906. And they started hanging it on the tree. And likewise, the angel at the top is probably older than the tree. And the color is just still beautiful. It's just amazing. And the teddy bear also was given to her as a child. And the slipper is from her 16th birthday party favors. And it's made out of leather. And there's another stocking at the very bottom. This tells you this what the size of the stockings today are this big, and that's what they used to put candy in. And this is all of these ornaments are older than the tree itself. And this one also is older. It's Santa Claus coming out of the rooftop. And this is older. And it's a balloon with an angel. It's incredible. In World War II, you could not buy any glass ornaments from the Europe. And this is from World War II, made out of cardboard and foil. And that's what they were selling in the United States at that time. And so it's been a pleasure for me to have the tree. The tree was actually given to my mother when the family moved to Houston from Galveston. That was in the late 1920s. In mid-1960s, she passed the tree to me. And at that time, I started a new tradition of rotating the tree among family members for a festive Christmas Eve buffet. And I went to all over Houston to my families. And one year I took it to my nephew, John, and Mary's home in Belleville, Texas. And as a joke, I came up and said something to his brother, Harry Lynn, and his wife that lived in Atlanta. It was in Woodstock at the time. And as a joke, I went up and said to Harry, and I said, I understand you're going to have the tree in Georgia next year. And he said, oh, no. Where did you hear that? And his wife, Kathy, heard it and says, oh, that would be wonderful. So somehow or other, I got everything in my car and drove to Woodstock, and we put up the tree it was for the millennium.
Okay.
Yeah, 2000. Now, the tree itself is pretty unusual. These limbs are actually made of iron, and I cannot bend them. And yet, the limbs that go into the wooden trunk of the tree, it's flexible right there where you can push up and wrap it and store it till next Christmas. And so it's great. Some of the candlestick holders are still there, and a lot of them have disappeared, just like the foliage. The fur was wrapped around. You can see a little bit of the fur, and with a fine wire, it was handmade. It was wrapped around each limb to maintain the fur. And the trunk of the tree is actually wooden.
Can you tell us
there's
about the sand buckets?
Yes. Before they got the red light, the electric lights around 1912, they would burn the candles, which we did. Only one or two candles, and we would let the children blow out the candle and make a wish. But there's nothing more beautiful than candle lights, candles burning on the tree. And if you notice, their limbs are proportions just so evenly that you can burn the candles and it will not burn the limb above it or below it. And so for precaution, a pan of sand that's wet would always go at the bottom of the tree in case there was a fire. And then they were one of the first families in Galveston to get the electric lights. And I believe there were only about 6 or 10 lights per string at the time, and they were very large. So then the tree, and I think it was in 2016 was the last time that we put up the tree in honor of my sister. And in 2022, my nephew John and Mary Conley from Belleville and Harry Lynn and his wife Kathy came in from Georgia and took me on my 90th birthday, and we stayed at the Grand Galveston Hotel, and it was wonderful. And we came over, we met Jody, and she said that they had a kind of like a court that they could roll the tree out. And I thought that was so wonderful. I told her right there on the spot, well, I want to donate the tree. And we decided that October the 15th, 2022, my nephew John and I brought the tree down and decorated it.
And we bring it out every year. So, Mr. Ring, why was it so important for you to hold on this tree for so long?
Well, times were not good for us when we were growing up. And, it was natural that my father never recovered from the Great Depression in the 1930s, 1929, 1930. I was born in 1932, the last one in my family. And the tree was basically all that we had. I remember my mother's sister, Aunt Jenny, she was the oldest in the Martin family and lived in California. And she would always send us a box with all kind of goodies. And one of the things I'll never forget that she sent for our brother Frank and I were socks that were full of pennies and nickels. And it was so great. We would count and recount them and recount them to see who had the most. But it was things like that that just made Christmas. In fact, we knew if a U.S. postal truck was coming around on 21st Street in the Heights, where we lived, on the Shell Road, that truck is going to stop in front of our house. And we would say, if we'd see the truck, we'd say, here comes Aunt Jenny, because we knew. And sure enough, it would stop. And my mother would always put, the homes then had no closet space. And we would put this tree in our room that the closet was this big. So when it folds up, it would just go in there. And in my mother's room, they also had a closet about this big. And she would always take everything out of the box that had Jenny sent and put it at the top. And you can imagine us going up there rattling everything, trying to figure out. But the tree itself was Christmas to us. And so nothing else mattered as long as we had the tree. So anyway, I miss it, but I think I've always said that if ever the tree, that I couldn't take it anymore at age 92, that I think it should go back to where it originated in Galveston. And I think this is a perfect place for it. Thank you, Jody. So I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas to all.
Jody, wow. When he talked about why he kept the tree, it was a very emotional. And I think that's one of the things about the holidays and traditions. There's so much related to that, the stories and the memories and the nostalgia. What have you noticed when people are looking at this exhibit?
Well, people notice it right away because it's right in the front entrance of the museum, and people start talking. And they talk about the ornaments. They recognize some maybe like they had as a kid or still have. And they spend a lot of time looking at it because there's so much to see. And then they start talking about what their traditions were. So I enjoy listening and kind of overhearing what they're saying about that tree. And they have stories to tell.
Well, and you said that it came from I-bands. And so for me, that immediately took me back because I was telling you that when I was little, we would go to I-bands department store and I'd get my red velvet dress and my mom would get my black patent shoes and my tights. So I would have my outfit for midnight mass at St. Mary's Cathedral, which is just around the corner from I-bands department store, just a short couple of blocks away. And it's such a wonderful treasure to have something with so much history. Like you said, it could, who knows, it could be the oldest Christmas tree in Texas, if not beyond that. And that family preserved it and then moved it every year to celebrate. And then they celebrated the 100th anniversary of the tree. I think that just says so much. So when it comes to items like this, why is it important for people to consider donating those things to the museum?
Well, a lot of people sometimes offer something and they'll say, but that's not really important. It's just my family story. But it is important because in the big picture of history, those little family stories are it. Those are it. And so it really just, if you might think it's not that important to anybody but you, it really is important to history. Yeah.
Well, and so what's your favorite ornament on the tree?
The Tampico hat. I don't know why that is important to me, but I love the stories. I keep coming up with stories. I come across them about how these two cities really had a relationship. And so it was just another one like, oh my gosh, here's another story about Tampico, Mexico. So that one just stands out.
Well, and the bear is adorable just because it's a bear with the little black little eyes and the cute little mouth, and it's just adorable.
Well, we also had just last week, we put up the tree, and then some relatives of Mr. Ring came to the museum and they said, oh, there's the tree. And they were telling me about the foil ornaments because that was the memory that stood out to them. And so you don't really necessarily think about over time, 114 years. Of course, ornaments have changed and what you remember for everybody is different. And there's just so many stories related to that tree.
So there are some ornaments on the tree that are even older than the tree. Is that correct?
Right.
And how many ornaments are on the tree, do you think? Just a rough guess.
Oh, maybe 100.
100. Well, and they're from all these different eras, depending on like if he bought them or if they were his grandmother's or his aunts or, so forth. And you were saying that after we did our recording with him, he shared something else about, why it was important for him to keep the tree. But you said another story.
Yeah, his family had moved to Houston in the 30s and they had lost their home because of the ripple effects of the Great Depression. And so his family had to move to another smaller home that had fewer bedrooms. And so all the boys were in one bedroom. The parents had a bedroom. His sister didn't have a bedroom. But she was older than him, and she was about 16 at that time. So she very quickly graduated high school. Back then you didn't go to high school until only to the 11th grade, not 12th. And so then she started working as soon as she could at a 5 and dime store, met her husband who came in as a customer, got married, and the rest is history for her.
Oh, I love that. Well, so if people want to come and see this wonderful historic Christmas tree, when's the best time to visit the museum?
So the museum is open on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for free from 10 to 4. If you want to come on a Tuesday or Thursday, we are here. You've got to make an appointment with us. We do private tours and our padlock mystery game. And so just give us a call. We're here.
Well, and one thing to note with the padlock mystery game, this is an opportunity for you to tour the museum on your own. So it's perfect for the holiday season. If you have a lot of family here and you want to look for an educational and fun experience, then make an appointment to come and do the padlock mystery tour at the museum, and you're going to really love it. How often do you get to explore a museum all on your own? And you leave with a nice treat as well.
Yep.
It was so wonderful to meet Mr. Ring, and he's so passionate about it. And I just think that I love that he donated this on his 90th birthday. It's just a wonderful gift for the museum. This tree is a great example of donations. you can donate in a couple of ways to the museum. Explain to us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So artifacts are something we collect. Our whole collection is made up of things the community has donated to us. We just want anything to do with Galveston County history. So you need to talk with us about it. If you have something, just give us a call or an email. You can find out how to contact us at our website, galvestoncountyhistory.org. And we'll talk to you about that and make arrangements for you to deliver it and sign some paperwork. If you do want to make a cash donation, we do accept those. Those help us when we need to buy new supplies to house our artifacts, because some of those get really expensive. And so if you want to make a monetary donation, you can do so also at our website. We have a donate button.
Tune in to Unboxing History everywhere you listen to your podcast, and find us on YouTube as well. And make sure you subscribe for updates on all the happenings at the museum.